Yes.
5, 4,
So good.
3, 2, 1. Wildly uninteresting podcast.
Bow.
Welcome to the Mother Show.
Father
Show.
Yeah.
This is Wildly Uninteresting for the 46th
Episode.
For the 46th time.
You want to try and not drop F-bombs this episode?
I was trying. That's why I didn't
Man,
drop
I was
one.
about to.
Yeah.
I'm normally the F word guy.
Let's see if we can do it. I feel like we're all very much F-word people.
This one's for Mom. We're not dropping the F word.
And Lita.
Ooh,
Love
that's
you,
gonna be
bitch.
hard.
We're going to try. Bitch.
Whole lot of other words.
That door is open.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna have to get that cat out of the place.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome to the
Jax.
46th episode. If you've been watching up till now, we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
All four of you.
We couldn't be any more grateful. We have no sponsorship to start the show with.
Nope.
This is all
Mainly-
self-funded by
We're
us.
just out here paying for these energy drinks.
Being
Right.
awesome.
And
This energy drink habit is costing me a lot of money. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to pull in some advertisement to get
Yeah.
these energy drinks, you know?
Dude, if you started getting free energy drinks, you'd be dead by the end of the month.
Oh yeah. You know,
Be a good month, though.
we were looking
Or
into
weird.
like what
don't know what
meth
this
does
is.
to the body and what cocaine and crack does to the body. You know, it hardens your arteries. I mean, you name it. Whatever. Ooh, I
Picks
almost
one
cussed
leg
again.
and randomly beefs it up.
It's hard not to cuss because then you're like, it throws me off guard because it's such a ingrained in my.
It's
My speech.
like a safety net. You can cuss.
It is a
just
safety net.
Avoid the F word, and also let's try to avoid GD. Because I'd
Okay.
like for,
I can
if
do
we're
that.
going to like
Goal
go ahead and,
turn.
yeah, if we're going to actually commit, I'd like to do it because I want Lita to be able to watch it. And those are the two words that she does not like.
What, Lita? Mm-hmm. Doesn't like those words?
Yeah. Doesn't like the F word or GD. Everything else she said she's fine with. But those.
Think she's ever fisted a dog?
I'm going to go with maybe.
Yeah.
Back to what I was saying about the like caffeine. So it would be mostly caffeine, a whole lot of B12, right? I wonder what an obsessive amount of energy drinks does to the human body. I feel like I can
nothing
feel the
good.
difference in how I used to be
Yeah.
and how I am now.
It's probably like if you were to stand above a clothesline with like a bathtub full of Coca-Cola and you just give it the Japanese like torture treatment.
Yeah.
Eventually that shit's coming down.
Well,
Eventually it's going to break.
it definitely, it does essentially the same thing. It's just not as severe. So it does all the same stuff. It just would take a little bit longer, essentially, to have the same effects.
I think it's been like 5 or 6 years that I've been really hard. Well, no, I would say about 3 years to where I was like drinking
I'd say it's been about 11 months.
11 months. Where I've been drinking like 4 to 10 a day.
Yeah.
10 if I'm having one of them real sluggish days. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
So what is a day like for you if you don't drink one?
Ooh, I haven't tried
Couldn't
yet.
tell you.
I couldn't tell you.
Man,
Yeah.
we should do that for science.
We should
Yeah.
most definitely do that for science.
All right,
Hold
so
on. I gotta be the one that suffers because you all want to do a
You're
science
the one
project.
that excels excessively.
Yeah, I would say I won't drink caffeine. I won't drink my Cokes.
I mean, like I'll cut it out, but
We
it's
could
not
all
gonna.
do
It's
it.
not gonna be nearly as interesting.
It's going to be a very aggressive podcast,
Oh,
I'll
dude,
tell you
that's
that.
gonna be
I'll
very
probably just
sluggish.
step up my drinking.
That'd be a very sluggish.
Cutting out energy drinks, time to get drunk as shit.
I'll just get real thin.
Yeah, I'll tell
It's
you what, man.
physically, or like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It was crazy for the wedding, right? For the wedding, Sarah cut out Coca-Cola, like
And
dark
zebra cakes.
energy drink, or not energy drinks, but dark soft drinks, and zebra cakes, man, because she couldn't fit into the dress that she had bought, like 6 months prior,
Yeah.
and then.
That's
So,
a commitment.
Yeah, she did it. I swear to God, man, it just dropped out of nowhere. She didn't even have to. She doesn't exercise. She never exercised one day maybe in her whole life.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
other than that day, never. So just dropped the weight, man, without her doing anything.
As in the first 2 weeks, and I've always been that way because there have been periods of time when I've cut out sugar. Usually it's specifically soft drinks, but sometimes it's just the sugar in
Keep
general.
your finger out of the bowl.
Yeah, or at least it's in moderation. And it's always the first 2 weeks. My stomach gets flatter because I got that Brock family belly.
Hell yeah.
And my stomach gets flatter, and it's real fucking quick.
It's crazy
Oh
to me.
man,
Look at
Oh,
you.
did you say the F word?
She's terrible.
I'm so sorry. Okay,
Everyone boo
well,
this man.
boo.
Well, that's one. Mark that down. That's one
I
for
am.
Sarah.
I'm actually
And then there
gonna
were
mark
two.
them all.
Me and you are awesome.
I'm gonna keep
She's
track
not.
of them.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
But see, this goes back to something that we talk about often. Is about breaking bad habits. As far as like if it's addiction, I feel like energy drinks would be an addiction.
Oh, it definitely is.
Cigarettes or
Caffeine
vaping.
is a highly addictive product.
Yeah, it's like a step
Right.
up from Mountain Dew.
Well, I think that it's very. I think people don't realize how hard it is to stop taking drugs. Not even for the physical addiction part, but just for the habit part of it, right?
Is it
People.
if you immediately fill it with something, does that help? Or is it
don't
like,
know.
well, they say it helps, but let's be real.
Yeah, I don't know if anything truly helps. There's a sense of will that you have to kick in. I don't know if certain things actually help or if
During
mentally we think it
those
does.
first, I'd say 4 days to a week, no, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah,
Nothing
just-
helps. Yeah,
On
it's just
edge.
constantly this is going. Okay, well, I could do this. I can get this. I could call this person. But after that period of time, stuff genuinely does help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if something comes up and I'm like, oh gosh, drugs would be fantastic right now.
So it's definitely good for long-term stuff.
Yeah.
But in the short term, you're best to just get zanned out and like sleep for a week.
That's what you choose to do.
That's but no,
Or
even,
just fucking crap.
that's another one. Go ahead and mark
And
that
there were
down.
still two.
Yeah. But I think it's more than not even just about addiction, but even for bad habits are hard to break. And I think bad habits alone. So name a bad habit that could have a physical
Impact.
impact.
Oh man.
I don't
Well, I
know
mean,
Other
aside
than-
from drinking
without
and drugs,
drugs.
it's just chronic masturbation.
that
You
could, okay.
definitely wear the skin of your penis off.
That where,
I was thinking you stopped doing it and then you're just pissy with everybody.
and then people have addiction to porn.
Yeah.
And then cheeseburgers, which I'm sure there's
Or just bad food in general.
bad
Okay.
food in
Yeah,
general.
just
Cheeseburgers are
cheeseburgers.
such a specific point
Oh,
of
they're
interest.
horrible for you though, but
I wonder though of how hard it is just to quit the habit alone, right? So not even the drug or whatever you're doing, but the habit of well, I get up and I do this at a certain time, or when this gets too overwhelming, I do this.
Yeah.
How do you? What is the scientific process to a habit? Like, how does a habit form, and
Well,
How do
it
you break
starts in the amygdala, travels down the
do you
left
know
side.
this?
No.
No, you don't.
no. But
Sound like
yes.
another person that
I'm a-
knew everything
yeah.
on this podcast.
Dr. Sex Woods is back.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Sexwoods.
Hell
What's
yeah.
up?
Hey,
You were
some-
definitely the best.
Someone come up to us and they were like,
He said,
he is like, how did he get that intelligent? And and we were just kind of dumbfounded. So when Sarah looked at me and she was like, he's so smart, he knows all this information. I'm like, I think what happened is, have you ever heard Alex Jones, how he gets on a podcast, he rants, he has all this
yeah,
information
he's
in
got
his
that
head.
encyclopedia.
Yeah, I think that he knows a lot of information, but it gets contorted once it's in his head, you know?
Well, in the case of Alex Jones, I disagree completely because he remembers everything exactly as it is and was.
Whatever.
Well-
Same with Dan Aykroyd. If Dan Aykroyd and and Alex Jones got together.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Be beautiful.
Yeah. Have David Lynch in the corner every once in a while. I'm gonna put it down. Hell yeah.
If you go back and watch all of the Waco tapes, like the Waco when they went in and whatever that guy's name was, don't remember, don't care. Alex Jones though is on
he's
interviews,
in it.
young Alex Jones, man, just ranting and raving at Waco.
Before he was all aggro and alpha.
Yeah, before he was like on
It doesn't even look like
InfoWars.
him.
He wasn't a testosterone machine.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go back and look at him because you can find those Waco tapes online,
Yeah.
and he's on there. You can get pictures of him and shit, but he's real young and but he still has that like
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah.
yeah. I can't get rid of
It's
it.
weird though that he can be young being Bill
know.
Hicks, you know.
You know, that's another weird thing. I took a picture the other day, or actually a video of the of
Which
something
was
we
it,
were
buddy?
doing. It was a video, and I was like, the only thing that tells us that there was a past or that there might be a past are videos and pictures, right? That's a
There might
common
be.
thing, right?
An historical record and paintings
Right.
and wizard cats.
Wizard cats, they'll tell you it's the past. But you
tell you
look
about
back at a picture, right? And most people are just like, look at this memory that I have, right? Something that has not always been there. Like you just said, there's been paintings in the past and all that. But it was weird for a split second to look back at this video of me and Sarah and realizing that was a look into the past. Like, was that time travel looking at the phone and it playing back to me?
Does it feel like time travel to you, Adam?
It kind of does, because I can relive that moment, you know?
Fudge it.
So
Oh, you're out.
See? I said
no, he said
fudge.
fudge.
Oh, no, you didn't really?
I'm a
he did.
professional, jackass.
You're on it.
He
We're
was
trying.
all up in your ass. Oh, you're out. That's awesome. You're so cute.
There was only one.
That was
No.
precious.
Get up pretty early in the fun and morning to win against me, boy.
But going back
Melvis.
to breaking habits, they say it takes like 20 days to break a habit. So you have to, I think it only takes like 7 days to form a habit. Something insane like that.
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, the best, I don't know that there's a science behind it. Maybe. I'm sure they've done all kinds of studies. So we'll say it's a science.
Yeah.
If
Science of sorts.
yeah, especially if you do it at a very specific time, like every single day, whatever this habit is, it's best, obviously, find something else to do during that time period.
Yeah.
Now, if
But
it's...
isn't that hard, though? That's so easily said.
Of course it's hard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You just do it.
But that's how it's done.
Just do it.
That's the only way to break it is to find something else during that time. Or if it's, you know, like drinking energy drinks, then you need to find something else to drink.
You just start doing some push-ups and yell at yourself in the mirror.
Get you 200 of them!
Hit yourself in the chest and shit.
That's my next one, man. I've noticed. Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude's an asshole.
You're just going to keep growling over me.
He doesn't want to hear what you have to say.
I know. I was like, dang.
Awesome.
Whatever I have is unimportant.
Now continue,
No
man. It's
importance.
important. Let me hear
Now
what
I
you got.
forgot.
I don't
Do you
know.
like that?
You want to go to the Hillary Clinton thing that I told you to?
Yeah. Man, okay, so she needs to shut up and die, but did you see that Bloomberg is rumored to be considering her for a vice presidential
No.
running mate there?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like she was a pretty solid first lady. She should have just stayed in that role.
Yeah,
God,
just do
feminists
that.
are going to hate me today.
But I mean, even that, she sucked at it. 'Cause, you know, Bill's got to step out.
Whatever, she supported him. I'm on
Yeah, but-
board with her.
Ugh.
No.
There was scandal because she just wouldn't do her job.
There
So
was
Chris Rock
scandal.
was talking about, yeah.
There was scandal because Bill Clinton chose to sleep with other women, or
No.
or have other sexual acts.
He did not
with
have
women.
sexual relations with her.
I got a question.
She sucked his D.
Getting
Okay.
your D sucked.
What if what if a
Hillary
president
failed?
and a first lady come out and they're like, look, before we even start running, we're gonna let the people know, hey, we are an open couple.
Right.
He likes to go do his thing. I like to go do my thing.
They may as well be Mormons. I'll never vote for them.
You don't think
It's going to be
you
the
give
thought
their
of
vote?
like 80% of the country.
What if they vote him in and then they tell him like, "Hey, don't worry about following
You're
us,
like, whoa,
media."
we had a right to know about this. And how did the media fail us? They were supposed to, TMZ, where you at? And now
Don't
everybody.
get me started on the media.
Don't
the
even-
media.
Don't even make me think about it.
No, this is a weird thing because you were going to talk about Hillary. I'm sorry. I'm gonna break you up there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
See if I can open this.
So we watch a lot. We're
That wasn't
watching
hard.
these like series of crime trials, and it bugs me that we're watching those too because the
Why?
people in these trials bug me. Right. My thing is they'll have like these big trials, like the Mendez brothers or Lacey
Peterson.
Peterson
Chabert.
and stuff like that. And they'll have thousands and thousands of people outside the courtroom, normal, everyday people that should be at work,
Yeah.
but no, they're outside the thing, and they're treating it like it's an event that
It
should
is
be
an
like
event.
won or lost, and they sway the
It's an
jurors.
amusement park ride.
But
It's
what
like
I
a baseball game.
what I don't get is why would they breathe life into such a tragic? So she dies,
Well-
that's tragic. If he goes to prison, that's tragic. If you sentence him to death, that's tragic. Like, just look at it. Step back for a second and look at like those people outside the trial, and then the news people and newscast people. Now look at it for what it is. And like the news people are making money off the broadcast in which they put out there that other people watch. These other people spend time, money, and effort watching the trial and like cheering. And they'll have like groups of people high
It's like
fiving.
bowls of Cheetos and
Yeah,
some wings.
dude, they treat it like it's a football game, like
Go
Super Bowl
lose,
Sunday.
man!
Yeah, I don't get
So
the
what
mental.
it is, I mean, not all of them, I'm not going to say, but I would say for a lot of people, because it was so horrible. I mean, especially and specifically with Lacey Peterson anyway. I mean, she was 8 months pregnant and she didn't need to die. She didn't do anything wrong. They finally find her body. They finally get to put this guy on trial. The whole thing is tragic, as you said. So
Okay.
they're like coming together and they want to see this guy brought to justice.
I get
I
that.
would go to the courthouse too. if
Because
something
you're
like
one
that
of
was
those
happening.
people
That's what it is.
that I want to punch in the face. No, I can understand if you're like the neighbor, right, or you're a part of the family or family friend
They're
and all
part
that.
of the
be there,
community.
right? Right, but don't you have something? Don't you have a job
Don't
to do,
disrespect the
or don't
community.
you have hobbies, or don't you have anything other thing to do in your
No.
life
I
that
mean,
could contribute
realistically-
more than watching this trial and this guy get sentenced
Immense
to death?
boredom and like not having a horse in
just
that
don't get
race makes it way better. You're like, this person's doomed. This person's doomed. No matter how it goes, somebody is wrecked, and it doesn't affect me at all.
At all. But you get to feel the emotion, right? And that's something that human beings we love. Fear, love, anger. We love these. We love them, right?
Yeah.
And that's why movies can sell, and that's why they, each CNN and all these other news stations
Have they
does
moved
their
on
own.
to like, because like with ESPN, there's like ESPN like 6 or something.
Ocho.
Is there like CNN like 4? Is that ever going to be
There's
a thing?
CNN.
MSNBC, Fox News.
I hope one day there's a
BBC.
CNN.
But
CNN.
I just but they sell that, and then each news station sells a different story because they have a different
Some of them sell
outlook
the
of it and
same
stuff.
one.
Or pretty much they copy
Yeah.
it and sell it, right? But people buy every one of them. They just can't get enough of it. They eat it up. I can understand. Okay, I can see your viewpoint and being at the trial and doing that thing, and hey, we're all neighbors and stuff. Then they go home and they watch each of the news stations' different playbook of the same trial. And then
And the lawyer came up here down the middle.
Yeah,
Took him out on the left.
I just don't get it. Like, look at it for what it is, and then it's just so strange that we have that in our society. That's what happens. It's like we haven't progressed from the old gladiator days when they were all in the square watching the person get in the what is that arm head thing or the guillotine, like they all
I was like arm head thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they all gather
Yeah, it's the
around.
guillotine for sure.
You know what I mean? Like we haven't progressed as a people. Like like do better. You know what I mean? You're cheering and like this is such a tragic moment. You have nothing to cheer about. And
Except
even that
he
guy,
was brought to justice.
Yeah.
right? But
People
even
love
that guy
tragedy
though.
and justice.
So now all your tax dollars that I assume that you have a job somewhere that you just took the day off to come to the jury trial, right? All those tax dollars have to
Vacation
pay
jury
for
day.
40 years of this guy's life to sit in prison, or you put him to death. So where's the win here?
You know who'll get
Like,
out in 17.
He probably
wonder.
will.
I never did look and see where is today. I guarantee he's still incarcerated.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying, though?
I
Get
feel
where I'm
ya.
coming from?
But at the same time, I disagree.
I know. So does Sarah's over there just stewing.
I mean, I completely get what you're saying because it's silly, like, but that's why Us Weekly and People Magazine sell so well because you could type anything you want. People just they're interested in other people. They like watching other people and seeing what are they doing? How do they look when they do it? What are they wearing? Like,
Yeah, so if I'm ever up against this, how can I act differently and cover it?
yeah.
I want to look cool while I'm on trial.
People want to watch other people and see how they are in situations.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. The only
That's how
one
it
that I
is.
guess I can agree with is when Comedy Central or Saturday Night Live will do like skits making fun of the trial and stuff. Because I'm all about making comedy out of a tragic situation. It's like the only way to get over it.
So then why
in
the
my
hell wouldn't
opinion.
you love the tragic situation?
Yes,
You people
don't get me wrong.
eat it up so that I can
Don't
make
get me
comedy.
wrong. I watch it, but at the same time, I loathe myself for watching it and liking it. You know,
Right.
because I'm like, well, you're no different. But then you try to dig deep and figure out, well, why do you like it? And there's those human emotions that humans that we eat it up: fear, love, anger, hate. All those we eat them up. And that's the same reason why people will infinitely scroll through Facebook looking at other people's lives that they can judge themselves against so that they can either feel better for themselves or they can even get addicted to the feeling terrible about themselves.
Do you think
That's
anybody
another
hangs
addictive.
out at the library and like uses it as like a social media thing?
Yes, I've seen
Yeah.
it
Like they
before.
watch people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
At least I know how to use the printer.
Because sometimes I go to the library still, and there's always at least one person on social media, if not more than that. There for
oh
a
no, I
while.
meant like the actual library itself
Oh.
is is the social
Yeah.
media.
Minus the computers.
that I don't know.
Oh, look at the stare troop up there.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is, though, because I could go to Walmart and treat it like it's Facebook.
Yeah.
But I
Mm-hmm.
would choose Walmart because it makes me feel better about myself.
Ooh,
see?
look at her. She's getting those low fat Oreos.
That's right.
She
See,
thinks she's
she
fooling
needs 'em.
somebody.
What if they made it? What if they made a double stuffed, low fat Oreo cookie?
That'd be horrible.
sounds dumb, right?
Yeah, it's just way too much of nothing good.
They
You're
make
trying too
Oreo
hard.
candy canes.
What?
That sounds terrible.
It's oddly good. It just tastes like chocolate.
Oh,
Really, I personally thought it tasted just like a chocolate candy cane.
Okay, so like there's no peppermint infused. Okay,
Nope.
that's where it got me. I
Yeah.
was like, I could see maybe, but
you know,
I'm not a
Just-
peppermint man.
she was spreading cocoa butter lotion on the other day, and I was eating a chocolate chip cookie, and it was weird.
Like it
that I
would be
could
great
smell
to
that.
just dip it in there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Is
it
this
was
the story
like
of poison
smell.
control being called?
No, but I would eat it.
Sometimes-
That's for sure.
I bet if I ever got pregnant, I bet that I would crave toothpaste. Whenever I brush my teeth sometimes, it tastes so good to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would love to eat this.
Open up, baby.
You know, that's
I'd bet
comes-
money that I
Here comes
would.
freshness for that ass.
something crazy about the brain and how it works is that stuff like when I was in prison, guys used to sit with articles in front of them of like a steak dinner or a lobster dinner or whatever. Visually, they could see this amazing meal, and then it would help them eat the food that was in front of them,
Yeah.
the prison food, because you're visually seeing something that you know is fantastic,
Yeah.
where your brain kind of tells your mouth like, hey, this ain't too bad,
Right.
And your sense of smell kind of takes over, and it's like mixes in like, oh, I can smell the lobster and there's steak in this. But they used to do that, and I used to joke on them. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I think I've ever
Yeah.
seen. But there's fact behind it. I
And
didn't
then
know
you
that.
replace a picture of the steak with a picture of your ass. And then you're like, I got him.
Take this.
It's like Hook.
But-
Not like a hook,
Okay.
but Hook. The
Yeah.
Guys
Where they
didn't
have all that
have
food.
commissary, and that would be like starving in the middle of the night, would eat the toothpaste. So you're not alone in the toothpaste eating.
There are some times that
Not
of
necessarily in the
course-
best company, but not alone.
It's okay. As long as I'm not alone, that's all that matters.
Hell
I
yeah.
like criminals. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, some of them are pretty alright.
Clearly.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. But there are
My
times
man
that
paid his dues.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a good man. That it's not like exceptionally delicious, and it's just okay. Well, it's toothpaste, but there are definitely times I'm like I could sit down with a whole tube
Yeah.
of this and eat it.
No,
I,
that's,
I,
I don't
have
think
come
I've ever had
across
that.
some toothpastes where I could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I'm sure if there was a spearmint toothpaste, I'd be eating it. I
There
love spearmint.
is spearmint toothpaste. It's like
I
all over.
guarantee it, yeah.
I think
Alright.
that's what we use.
So like I know that it's spelled spear mint. Mm-hmm. But I always end up throwing in the spearmint.
There's no
No.
I've never looked
It's just
it up.
spearmint.
Spearmint.
Yeah.
Spearmint.
Huh. I wonder where the name originated. Can you tell us that? Computer lady? Computer
As
lady
long
Hey,
as-
Sarah?
that mint's way over there. Use this spear.
As long as what?
I was gonna say as long as you all talk while I find it.
Nope.
As
We're just
long
gonna
as
watch
man
Sit
has been
here.
alive, spearmint has been there, lurking in the shadows. It's older than time
you-
itself, they say.
Do you want the
Older than time itself.
Do you want the where the word originated
Uh-uh.
or the spearmint itself?
The word.
Yeah, definitely the
The
Okay.
word.
word, yeah. Because
Fudge the mint.
the first time I ever tasted a mint leaf, like it grows out of the ground kind of like a bush, but more like a vine, kind of. More like a bush. I guess it would be more like a bush, right?
Yeah.
So it was the strangest thing. If you take a leaf out of that, my neighbor, she grows them every year, man. They pop up every year. And you can chew it. Back in the day, they used to just chew it because they didn't have toothpaste and all that. So they would just chew that.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
No.
I mean, it tastes like a mint.
Yeah,
like
it makes
a-
complete
like a damn mint.
sense.
With some greenery
It'd
flavoring.
just be like, chewing on a strawberry.
Yeah,
Hey, I want my breath
No,
to be a
it's
little less
different.
nasty.
it's different.
Oh,
So
I'm
different.
sorry.
It's not even the
control.
same.
Adam, control yourself.
Right.
You're scaring me.
Okay.
Seriously,
It's the Viking hat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes you look like a unicorn.
Ooh, you know what
Yeah.
the next hat I want? Oh, it probably does make me look like a unicorn.
Yeah, it does.
The next hat I want is a Spartan. Those like it looks like a broom.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
broom
yeah,
man.
okay.
I want a
with you.
Spartan hat. It'll
Hell
be the
yeah.
next one. Then we'll
You
all
could
get a
just,
hat.
you could just not brush my face when that happens. That'd be great.
Everywhere I went, he'd text me and say, "Look for a Viking hat. Look for a Viking hat." I ended up just ordering one off the internet because
So-
apparently they don't sell them unless.
So are you going to
it's-
become like the number
Halloween.
one Vikings fan in the country?
No.
You could be a
That
football
would be
fan.
gay. That would make me gay.
I think it's your
seriously-
inquenchable thirst for cock that makes you gay.
And
Yes.
It's a toss up. I don't know.
It's definitely what it
toss-up.
is.
There's people in prison,
Damn
that they'll go to prison and they don't have any other way to make a living or whatever, and they'll go gay for the state, right? So the premise is that you go to jail to be protected. You suck a lot of other male organs
Yeah.
for either money or protection, both,
Like their
probably.
liver, their thyroid.
Yeah, and then right before they
Oh,
get
now it's
out,
just tombs.
they declare that they're not homosexual, and then they're not. It's called being gay for the state. Thought you would like that.
That
Strange, huh?
What is
you can't do that
What
out
is
here.
with people?
Yeah, because then people just judge you and like forever. Like if I put one in my mouth,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much a dick sucker the rest of my life.
I don't know.
Right. No,
It would depend on how long you
No,
do it.
One-
if you do one, no,
Just
not
one.
at all. Like, what if you're just experimenting and you don't know what you like?
Yeah, you're not the
You-
dick sucker. Your dick sucked.
Well,
Yeah.
that sucks because I wish like back in the day maybe I just put one in my mouth and hold it there.
Ah, look at him. He tasted it.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. Because who knows?
and
Who
say,
knows?
My man ain't gay. He just tasted one.
He just put it in his mouth.
It's awesome.
Almost kissed. Did I say that on a podcast earlier?
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
like
never
3
mind.
No.
times.
I really
was
like
gonna
the
say, I
story.
don't know.
Whatever. Did you guys know
Oh.
that on season 8 of Friends, there's on the special features you could play Bamboozled,
Yes,
and it is quite
I
difficult.
did know that. Yeah.
Bamboozle.
Bamboozled.
Explain.
It's the game show that Joey tries to host.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
with like
gotcha.
the crazy rules and shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an
The
actual
Wicked
game out there?
Wango card. Yeah. And then it turns out if you haven't watched season 8 in a long time, you're going to do really terrible on the questions.
Yeah.
And then your only hope is a Google card, and the Google card will always stick you.
It can always get you.
Yeah.
You know, something I found about the internet, which is funny because I think this is why a lot of people get so stuck in a stupid way of thinking, is that you can go to Google or Bing or whatever you use, and you can search something. Like say I think that I don't know.
I think that stars are made of pie.
Yeah, say you think that, right?
Right.
You can go and put that in Google. And I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, that there are at least 10 other people that have created a blog website that's about that. And
Here,
they
find
will,
one of these blogs and read it
I'm
to
already
us.
busy.
they
All
will
right,
create
stick with what you're doing.
facts and put these facts together in a way that makes you think, I'm right. So in a way, we cultivate stupidity, like me to you, like peer-to-peer stupidity. Like we hold each other down
Yeah.
because of all this stupid flat earth, stars are made out of pies, bullcrap.
You got to get off the stars made out of pie, people. They know what they're talking about.
I'm telling you, man, the internet is a weird place for that. Now there are, and it makes you wonder too. Something that Sex Woods said is that we have an information bias. Remember he said that.
Vaguely.
You like how he keyed that in before he told us all these erroneous facts,
Hey,
right?
some of it was true.
One
The
thing,
man's a genius.
one or two things.
Let us not speak ill of the doctor.
No. I'm not speaking ill. I'm just saying, pointing out something that he said. He said information bias.
Yeah.
And I thought that is a good point. So you tell me something, and I'm like, no, that's completely false. You're effing wrong, right?
Yeah.
Well, that could be because I have an information bias. Maybe I've only read the stuff that proves my point and not the devil's advocate into your point.
Yeah, because
right?
then you'd have to really dig and find out who's standing against you that's actually right.
Right.
Ooh.
But then how can you trust them? Because it's an information bias. Like I trust them because this website cites some newspaper that came out in 1840, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But how do you know that information wasn't put there by somebody who had an information bias on the wrong thing, and
Well,
we're none of us right?
That's why when you do research, it's why it takes me so long to research stuff, because I read as much stuff as I possibly can.
That's why I let you do it though, because me, I'm like, I'll trust the first thing. Like, yep,
This is fact.
unicorns are real.
So-
I usually try to start with like a .edu
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
page.
Okay.
Yeah, and then or org, but you know,
She'll read the actual like
that.
the studies and stuff, which are hard to read just because of they're all over the place and they're an abundant amount of information. But she'll read all of that and
There's
then
so
like
much of
gather
it.
an opinion.
plus some of it's just so dry.
Most of it.
like,
I really like the structure, though, of scientific studies.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me that it's dry. I don't know. God, I wish I actually still have it. I'll have to find it and let you read it. I have like the driest, most just.
I printed it out. This is my favorite one.
Well, I was studying for something for old work, so I printed all of it out, read it, highlighted notes
Yeah.
and everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to read. A lot of the words I didn't know what they meant because it was so intense. So I had to. It took me a very long time to read the article.
Yeah. It's like listening to Bad Religion.
Yeah. So the most I can find about spearmint is the 1530s and saying it's thought that it comes from spire, which is the tall, slender stem of a plant.
Yeah.
And mint, I'm struggling for. So there was a word that I just didn't know what it meant.
Let me get a mint of the
Mint,
spire.
mint, M-I-N-T,
Mint,
M-E-A-N-T.
M-I-N-T is what I did.
But that's also could be mint as in money.
It's, yeah, that was one thing that
Ain't
came
that
up.
crazy? Mm-hmm.
So
Somebody,
was that the basis of their economy?
I don't know.
What, spearmint?
Chew
Probably
that
not.
money.
Maybe
Probably
they
not.
used to cover their monies in spearmint leaves, and that's why they started calling it minting.
Maybe.
Damn.
Possibly.
What?
Could be.
How deep does it go?
Nobody take that as fact.
Take it as fact.
Take
or
everything
shut
I
the hell
say
up.
as fact.
Yeah.
What'd you tell me to look up? It was a blog about something.
Oh, nothing.
No, I want to look it up.
It was
Stars
something
being
he made
of
up.
Pie.
Okay,
Stars being
cool.
made of pie. He made it up.
Don't you cut
Don't
down
look it
my
up.
dreams
Nobody
of
wants to look at it.
blogs.
I'm gonna listen to that bull.
That bull.
Get out of here with all that bull.
It's awesome.
I found my place in the sky.
Scott Peterson is still on death row. I don't know if I ever said that.
Scott Peterson is still on death row. You know, that's funny too, right? So they sentence you to death,
Yeah.
right? And you can appeal it for a very long time. But say you don't want to appeal
your
it, and you
heart's
want to die,
content, yeah.
right? You're just ready to go. Tell with it. I've lived. I've killed.
Stamp
I've
me
loved.
out.
Stamp me out, right? What do you? They'll
Didn't
keep you on
expect
death row for 20, 30 years, just waiting to die. Like, what's the point in that? And they're not
going-
even in normal prison.
The
they're in
suffering.
They're
Yeah.
literally on death row, but they're going
They're
usually
quarantined in
going
a-
through appeals and stuff.
Yeah, because
but-
you think death row. Hell yeah, I'm on my way to die.
Nope.
Psych, bitch. Sit there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Then
I
we'll
ju-
kill you.
I just think it's quite funny how much lands on the taxpayers' back and how much crap they don't raise about why you would keep a death row inmate on death row for 30 years after you sentence. Not only does that bug me, but it also bugs me that we allow research and development to be funded by taxpayers' dollars. Then they'll say they come up with a drug called insulin,
Yeah.
and it
Say they do
saves
this.
people.
Say
that
I'm an electrician.
it saves people that have diabetes, right?
Betas.
And then they charge you $800 a shot or something. It's something crazy, right?
Yeah.
Your taxpayers' dollar, your tax dollars paid for the research and development that created this drug,
Yeah.
and then that corporation, that company, put this astronomical price on it. So not only are you paying to have it made, but you are also paying out the ass. Sometimes going
But I
into
don't
debt
even use
over
it,
the
so
medicine.
I don't give a shit.
No, because I've learned that too. You think all this like madness is going on, but those terrible moments like cancer, like the chemo and all that, will send people into debt. Well, we don't deal with that. You know what I mean? I don't deal with cancer, so I'm not too adamant about changing it. Right? You really have to have something directly affect you to get in this uproar to change something. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not in an uproar to change much of anything. I don't care if my tax do whatever you will.
Well,
it's
'cause
gonna
if
like
it's
you're
not
gonna
gonna
have
if
it.
it's not gonna affect you in this life, who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah.
But for the ones that it does affect, which is 1 out of every 3 men, I know that. It's
not a man.
such a strange, you know what I mean? I feel bad for him, but you could have one of 20 diseases that do that. You could have cancer or AIDS or hepatitis, all this stuff that they charge you so much to get the medicine that you help create pretty much with
Well,
your money.
some of it. I mean, there have to be some things that the pharmaceutical companies footed the bill for themselves.
I don't think so, man.
If nothing else, this gives us the proper means and justification to storm their property.
I think
Kick out the glass!
I think the people forget what authority they have, but they don't have authority each single person, right? You don't have authority by yourself because there's a million other people that couldn't care less.
Maybe this is why we need to keep assault rifles in the hands of the common man.
That's right.
So that we can swarm the pharmaceutical companies.
Swarm the pharmaceutical.
I went to
Hypothetically.
This is all hypothetical.
I went to a gun safety class today,
Yeah.
and the guy who was leading it said there's 4.5. Did he say 4.5 million people in Kentucky?
4.5 dead kids in the back. Shit.
And there's over 40 million guns in Kentucky that they know of. Isn't that awesome?
God.
Isn't that a crazy statistic?
That's pretty sweet.
I love it. Oh, shit.
Everybody's double fisting and it still doesn't matter.
Gosh.
You put it down. No, you put it down.
They're tin-fisting.
Hell
No,
yeah.
there's
Let's get the octopus people armed to the teeth.
something
Right?
else that they don't take
Bear
into
people are
account.
next.
Or there's people who actually make and create their own weapon, own gun, like firearms
Those are
that
cool
are
people.
almost better than the ones you can buy.
They're also the people that still use maps and write letters.
Hey, how
I
else
do
do you
both
stay
of
off
those
the
Yeah. Gun nut.
how else do you stay off the grid if you're using GPS and your credit card? You know what I mean? Like you gotta do the newspaper.
Hey man, run it the old school way where you swipe it on the thing and make
Yeah.
a copy on the paper stuff.
I wonder what our community would do if we lived off the grid, right? We should try.
I don't know that ours would care.
You don't think so? I mean, completely. We don't pay for water, electricity, nothing.
I don't know. They might,
I mean,
but
we
I
still
feel
have to pay
like
taxes,
even the
Tax.
I feel like they wouldn't care though, because even everyone who lives in the area that we live in, they're kind of that small town country folk. I feel like
So
Maybe
you
they'd
think we can
care.
get away with doing it? No,
Maybe.
I don't think so, though. I think
Let's
they
find
look
out.
at it like, nobody can live fully off the grid, so we're good. But, that's what me and Sarah have been talking about. I have this overwhelming, all-consuming thought that in between the space of you and I, there's an energy source. And I think I brought that up last podcast. But no, I tried to, and I think sexoids shut me down.
I know. I feel like we've talked about it
Yeah.
after.
Okay, well, I'll give it a
Talked
bullet
about
point.
it off air.
I'll give it a bullet point as to, I think between you and I, there's an energy field that can power, because most of the things in your house are a DC source of energy at a low amperage and a low voltage, right? It converts the 120 after it gets into the house into a DC direct current voltage. And it powers it. Doesn't really take as much energy as you think it does to power the things in your home, especially chargers for batteries in your laptop or in your phone or whatever. Doesn't take a lot, like 1.5 amps
Yeah.
at 12 volts or 24 volts. It's not a lot. But I think, I would view the world, since we have a north and south pole, and ions go up into this sphere and then back down. It's almost like the Earth is its own battery. It's its own power source
Right.
with interchanging electrons, negative to positive, negative to positive. If you could find a way in between that empty space, me and you, to harness those negatives, transmit them to positive, if you could connect in between there, you could power these small things that we use, like the laptop, the TV.
So what are you waiting on?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think, but it goes against conventional wisdom. So anything that you could read in a book would be wrong. Anything. So if you step outside
You'd
the bounds,
essentially have to do like trial and
Yeah,
error
just
and just
sit
try
around
some new
fiddling.
stuff.
but where do you start as far as materials? Because materials would be wrong too, because that's conventional. That's
I
what
would
we
say
have right now.
you would have to start with the conventional stuff that we do have and go from there and just make tiny adjustments. Okay, well, what I know to be true isn't working. Okay, so what should I change here to make this work? You make that one adjustment. Okay, that didn't work. What
Definitely
else?
start with something that, like, whenever you're around it, you get all staticky.
Well,
My
that's,
blanket.
we were talking about that beforehand, that they're trying to harness static electricity in your atmosphere. The atmosphere carries an abundant amount of static electricity. Not a lot of amperage at all, but you're looking at 100 feet, like 100,000 kilovolts, something crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's just chilling. It's crazy.
And what I thought, because I saw a meme where the placenta, the veins in the placenta,
Yeah.
they matched it with like the rivers of the earth and like a tree of light, a tree, lightning bolts, all that have the same general form. If you ever look at them side by side, they look very similar, right? And I told her, right now they're trying to do it with like antennas, right? To gather static electricity with antennas. There's not a lot of electron exchange from negative to positive. Like it's only in the very small portion of the end of the line.
Right.
But if you created like a tree made out of a conductive material, say copper or gold for that matter, a 50-foot tree, right, with 1,000 ends on them,
50-foot gold tree, 1,000 ends on them.
and funnel those into ground, connect in between, whatever, DC resistor, whatever you choose to use, a charger, what have you.
Yeah.
Maybe that would create enough. I don't know. It's just
Get on
it's
it.
maddening. You know what I mean? It's
That
maddening.
sounds
but
like it would look cool, though.
that's
Oh,
what.
yeah.
Either way, it'd
Initially,
be
I
a
was
cool.
like, well, but now I'm like, oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
this.
It'd
be
be a pretty
very
cool
neat.
art piece for sure.
Yeah.
If
It would-
anything.
Certainly, it would take quite a bit of time and material and stuff to do it. But if you could do it and it worked, it'd be amazing.
Well, but it goes like the conventional wisdom thing and education, conventional education, I think is so far off the beaten path. Like you can't get there with that. Like
But
you
you
would have to
have
search
to-
from within.
Unfortunately,
Creativity.
you have to start somewhere, and you can't start somewhere that you don't know.
Well,
so you
yeah,
have to
but-
start with what you know, and then just
Yeah.
go from there.
I
And then
feel
start
like with
wearing
the
a green
background,
onesie and fight the Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes.
I feel like the
That's right.
background in electricity and being an electrician and all that like plays into it and helps me understand
Mm-hmm.
more. I think you're right. It'd be trial and error at that point. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I know how it works. I know how electricity works, but you're talking about an entirely different thing. You're
Yeah.
talking about trying to gather electrons from within the 12th dimension. Do you hear where I'm coming
My
from?
man's trying to change the game.
It's different.
The new face of electricity.
Something I was looking up, string theory. If you ever get a chance, look up any video whatsoever about string theory and them explaining it. Tell me your brain doesn't hurt by the end of it.
What, everything's just a string and you pluck it. It's like musical.
No.
Yeah.
I wish that was true. I wish that was true.
So
Look at me. Look at my face. Don't you know I wish it was true, man?
Yeah, good job.
me a chimichanga, bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
So I've been reading about death row. I got kind of stuck on Arkansas, but like I had said, a lot of time, yes, the appeals are the big issue. It's been going up. People have been on death row for longer and longer here in like recent years. It's only been increasing how long they've been on it. So
Except in Texas where it's decreased.
no, absolutely not.
Fry the retards!
Specifically in Arkansas, now I don't know how this applies to other states. They said a lot of times they have issues obtaining the drugs to actually administer to them because the pharmaceutical companies don't want to sell it to them for the purpose of execution.
I'll sell it to your boy over here.
It's interesting, though, that so many pharmaceutical companies, like Purdue, they're the ones who came out with OxyContin, knowing that people were dying left and right, and they didn't give a shit. And actually, they were making money off of it, so of course they didn't care.
Yeah.
But some
But
don't want to sell it for the purpose of execution.
so why do we not just blast them in the brain with a shotgun blast?
We
Like-
used to.
Because, I mean, that seems pretty humane. You're going to die pretty much like, blah, you know?
I don't.
It doesn't give any. I think the victims, like they play it for the victims too, because it's actually very traumatic to see
Yeah.
somebody get shot in the head.
Well, that's why you just have, like, the executioner put his foot on the person's neck and you just, like, blow their brains out in a corner of a dark room.
I
But
imagine
the
though
victims
it's
don't get to see it though.
It's
Fuck them.
traumatic as well, though, just to see. Damn
it!
It's
Got
traumatic
me
though,
worked.
Got
also
'em.
to see someone euthanized.
And there
I
was
mean,
one.
just with the drugs that they use now, that's traumatic for some people. 'Cause you're literally watching the life leave a human's
Just
body.
drain.
Yeah, but if it's going to be
Even if
traumatic
they're-
for you, don't watch it.
Some people want
But
to.
they want
Well,
want
then
that
don't complain
closure.
about the trauma.
Hey, that's
What do you want?
the Iceman, which I don't know his real name, but he used to chop up the bodies, put them in a big deep freeze.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the best part about killing somebody, the most intimate thing that you could ever do, is choke them up, right? Or hang them over your back and watch the life drain out of their eyes. He said it's the most intimate moment when they know it's over. You know it's over. He said that, and the best feeling in the world was, strapping a rope around their neck, putting them over his back, and feeling the life being drained out of him.
That guy's got some problems.
Yeah, and when you see the
see it being
interviews of him,
calming.
he's like legitimate, like he loves
it.
Loves it.
Iceman is Bobby Drake.
Bobby Drake.
Good
There you
old
go.
Bobby D.
Yeah,
That
his
is in the
interviews are
Marvel
creepy.
universe.
If you talk to nurses who have been nurses for years and years, they have experienced the same thing, but I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't say that it's enjoyable, but they can see if
Ooh, yeah.
they can tell when the life has left the person.
Just
Yeah.
when I get excited about my shift being over, I find out somebody's about to die, and I go watch, and then my shift perks right up.
Yeah. But no, that's what I found about that. The appeals and then the number of issues within the trial is what tends to hold stuff up. And a lot of trials have a lot of issues within it. So they have to go through and deem if it was a fair trial or not. So if your lawyer comes in and he's been smoking meth for the last 2 weeks, and then they find that out 6 years after your trial, like, we
Well,
got to give them another trial.
I think that you should not be able to.
I won my case, and my lawyer was on meth. How is that not? That'd be
I
cool.
think you should be able to. You shouldn't be able to convict unless you have, evidence that is 100%. You got them on camera. Even that is hard to prosecute.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just don't think the system is fair enough, right? I know that it's kind of fair and it works out, and we keep everybody, in line, so to speak, right? But I don't know how fair it actually is, because sometimes they convict on character and they
yeah.
convict on circumstantial evidence,
Yeah.
but the story was just put together really well, is what they say.
If it's put together really well and you can't poke holes in it, you kind of got to go with it.
Yeah, but
You can
Can
poke
you, though?
holes in any theory, though.
there's a lot of innocent people just sitting
Poke
in
holes
prison.
in gravity.
It's
Yeah.
okay. There is no gravity.
Shit.
Done.
Well, let's
Gravity's
wrap
like,
this up. I feel stupid now.
gravity's a pie
It's awesome.
in the sky.
Yeah,
High,
made of stars as well.
made of stars.
It,
I'm joking on you.
but like, what
It
do
doesn't
you
feel
have? Another alternative? As
Oh, I don't. That's what I'm
Because
saying. Like,
that's-
it's
I'm
hard. It's hard to
curious, like what else they could do, because I mean, you have a jury of 12 of your peers.
Come on.
The
though.
alternative is the Big Brother, kind of like recorded police
Everything?
state. There's a camera and a microphone
I'm
everywhere.
not okay with that at
Well,
all.
we're moving
Well, then
to
there are
that.
going to be problems
You realize
with the
that,
system
right?
forever.
We're moving to a place where everything's going to be recorded.
Yeah.
I feel like
You're never going to be in
I
private.
think London is more on that than America is.
Oh,
but,
wait, we're
Yeah,
slowly
China.
moving towards it. Yeah.
but you know, I
There's
probably
this-
sound stupid to the government that's listening in right now. They don't know.
like this idiot, he's
They,
not a threat. Move on.
They I just feel like it will be weird at first, right? When we don't have privacy, right? At all.
Right.
Unless you just don't get an Alexa, and then you have a little bit more privacy than most. But if you have a security camera, well, you're screwed again.
Yeah.
But it will cut down on crime.
It feels
right?
like the world is just becoming Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, because, it's
Explain,
like in
sir.
Vegas, it's just cameras everywhere. So it's like, you're just out there living your life. You're living it up in Sin City. debaucherously, but you're doing it openly, and you have nothing to hide because you can't.
Right.
And then people are like, oh, privacy. You really only need privacy if you are doing shit
I'm not doing
that you
anything
feel-
wrong, and I want privacy.
that you feel shame for.
I feel no shame, but I don't want people. It's no one's fucking business.
Whoa.
Yeah,
oh,
I agree.
You already
But
lost. But,
still,
that was another one.
oh, and there's
Yeah,
still
there's
just
another
one.
one. Yeah.
They're
One
just
over here.
racking up the tally.
I'm the worst.
3, okay.
I am the worst with the F word, and I haven't
Not one?
got one out. Knock on wood, but hey.
Yeah.
No, there was something, I don't know, maybe you could look it up. I don't know how to look this up. Somebody at some agency received an email, right, from a guy that presented himself as somebody from the future, from like 2030 or something. I think it was 2030, if I'm not mistaken, but look it up. And what he said was, it might be later than that, like 2086. But he said that in the future, it was one of many claims that he said that in the future, that we will not have any privacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
But the strange thing about it is we're more safe than we've ever been, and we're more coexisting. Like we coexist better. My fault. That sounded stupid. We coexist better because it cuts out crime. It cuts out drug dealing. It cuts out all that crap.
Does it just become drug selling because it's legal?
No, I think they can indict them faster and get them off the street.
God.
Which is going to be a sad world because without drugs, what's life? You know?
Come on, man.
No. But hey, did you see that Kentucky advanced the bill for legalizing medical marijuana?
Yeah, I feel wasn't there just like one asshole that was rallying against it?
Just one with like a sign. No marijuana.
No, man.
Marijuana is the devil.
You know, the crazy thing about that is, and it's going to be fun to watch, but they have to backtrack. See, it could cut our tax dollars like crazy, right? It could cut taxes. They could even give money back if we do it right, just like Colorado did. But the government has to go backtrack and free the people and exonerate and expunge the records that have petty marijuana charges.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
going to be
before we
fun
go
to
and
watch.
legalize this shit, how many black people are we going to
I
let
was going to say
out?
they don't want to have to
They don't
release
wanna
them.
release them.
Sorry, Tyrone.
Yeah.
The fuck?
What? Another one for you.
Hopefully
right.
that happens.
I
But
feel good about that one.
Cool.
the criminal justice system, though, I just hope. I like the idea of being having the jury of your peers, even though I don't really like my peers, nor do I trust them very much. I feel like a lot of them are really stupid.
Ooh, good save.
Yeah.
Count myself on that one.
Stupid.
I was going to say funny.
But
I
I don't
don't-
think they're funny. I didn't want to live with that commitment.
Out there forever. I just don't know what an alternative would be. There's so many people are just dumb.
What
I
if they
don't know.
inject us with something that allows us to,
Be
if we do
completely
anything
biased?
wrong? No, to be completely honest. Like,
Well, on
we
Lost,
can't lie.
they just gave Saeed some LSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think the
That
world
doesn't
would be
work.
if we couldn't
Well, it did in
lie to
TV.
each other?
What?
What kind of world do you think we live in if we couldn't lie to each other
I'd love
whatsoever?
it.
Not
Well,
even a white lie.
love
According to that episode of Supernatural, it gets ugly.
Actually, I say I'd love it, and I don't think that I would.
Do you think it would
Right?
it would level out eventually though? People would come to like
No,
really love it.
I think
right?
it would be great for like the first
Maybe.
hour, and then it would be like, oh no, 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 let's go back,
go back
let's
to
go
the,
back.
old
And
way.
then after about a year or 5, it would be okay.
be okay?
But it would be rough
yeah.
transitioning.
It would definitely
so
be rough.
going back to the we talked about conventional education, right?
When did we talk about this?
Just a minute ago when I was talking about electrons.
All
And
right,
Yeah.
well, dumb it down for me.
The,
like electricity.
all
the
right.
tree of life and
Okay.
stuff.
Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
The electrical art project.
So I was looking it up, right? I stumbled across the video, which I have 2 recommendations for anybody who wants to just widen their learning. How would you say that? Their
Yeah.
knowledge.
No, I think that's good.
Practically anything, really. It's just open to interpretation, really.
Learn some shit, bitch.
The first
Yeah.
one is after school. right?
Yeah.
But school is spelled with a S-K. S-K.
Oh yeah, I
School.
like after school.
After school. And then the other one is Academy of Ideals, right? Where the guy pretty much, he just challenges the way we think, right? On anything.
You say Academy
Psychology,
what?
science, Academy of Ideals.
Thank you.
So I'll put them in.
Ideas?
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you're saying ideals.
Either way.
All right. No.
Ideal. So anyways.
Hit you with the fucking ball. Yeah, that one did. I've
They
given
said
up.
that public schools, right? This is a like a history of public schools and why they were implemented, right?
Right.
Now you just stick with me because I
Write
have
it
kind of
out.
I have a litany of different information here that I have to trudge through. So
Okay.
just
Ideas and
stick
ideals are
with
the
me.
same, but you bust out litany. Come on.
Is that right? I'm right though, right?
Yeah.
I use it in
Yeah.
the right context. So go on somewhere.
No.
I
I
know.
can't.
Go
It's just-
go away.
It's upsetting. You're defying all my expectations. And it's like, what?
Back
I'm
up
just
off
there
my
for you,
man.
man. Okay, so the first school technically, right, was originated by Lycurgus of Sparta, where they would rip away children from their families and put them in military schools for total obedience of state, right?
You gonna wield that spear?
They would
Yeah.
make that. They would force them into war, pretty much, and being obedient to the leader.
They're into the conquest. And
I don't know who their leader was at the time. Maybe that was the leader. I don't know.
Kaiser.
So in
Yeah.
the 16th century Europe, there was a gentleman called named Martin Luther, who wanted to create a school. Right? He was the primary figure of the Protestant Revolution, which rejected the Catholic Church in favor of the Bible as the sole authority of truth. Right?
Yes.
So he wrote a letter to the state, German leaders, who wrote a letter to them, urging them to institute a mandatory schooling system. In that letter, he said, I maintain that the civil authorities are under obligation to compel the people to send their children to school, ... If the government can compel such citizens as are fit to military service to bear spear and rifle and perform other marital duties in time of war, how much more has it a right to compel the people to send their children to school? Because in this case, we are warring with the devil, whose object it is secretly to exhaust our cities and principalities of their strong men, right? He was urging them to create this system of schooling, mandatory schooling,
Right.
that would use public schools to help indoctrinate students to believe in the Lutheran Church, his church, right? They persuaded him, and Lord Acton said about Martin Luther, he impressed
Acton.
on his party that character of political dependence and that habit of passive obedience to state is pretty much what the letter consisted of, right?
Will you say it again?
No.
The last thing you just said.
Lord Acton
Yeah.
said
Read
about
that
Martin
last
Luther,
bit.
he impressed on his party that character of political dependence and that habit of passive obedience to state.
Okay.
He was
Thank
just
you.
summing up.
Habit of passive obedience.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance
Yeah.
to the flag.
Then after that was implemented, put in place, all that crap,
Right.
Frederick, either way, William of Prussia, 1717, created the factory model of schooling, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the factory, in the factory school, teaching like the buildings tends to be box-like and linear. Transmission teaching dominates, standing at the front of the classroom. The teacher transmits knowledge to the students. This kind of teaching works best when the teacher can see everyone at once. And so classrooms are created in a series of boxes. The
Eyes up
most
front.
pervasive example being one of double-loaded classrooms down a single hallway, right? That just tells you what factory model schooling is.
Yeah.
But it was all for indoctrinating their students into believing a certain ideal. And it was very primary. Like they give you the bare minimum primary to think the way that they want you to
You see
think.
how it makes it sound so different. Instead of indoctrinating,
Yeah.
you say, we're bringing them up to speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I know.
But barely up to speed
Yeah.
in the eyes of the education system.
I feel like it's even less of here's what I know and here's what you should
You
think.
should think.
Yeah.
And then
Then that's hardcore indoctrination.
and then the first school that was formed in the first 13 colonies, whatever, was from Horace Mann in Massachusetts in 1837, right?
Learning from the Minotaur.
1837?
1837 was the first school, and it was in Massachusetts. But they adopted the same factory model as the Prussians. That's where they got the idea, and they implemented it in the 13 colonies, which is now still the
That's what it
design
is
that we
today.
yeah. And that's what's weird too. If you think back to your elementary school or college for that matter, it was these cement brick buildings that were boxed in, and you got all the people and the teacher in the front, and there has to be a better way to learn, a more creative, a more flourishing way to learn than this terrible style. And I thought back about prison. How did I get so accustomed to and fine with prison?
Yeah, 'cause
and
you've
being
done
told
it your
what
whole
to do
life.
and all. It wasn't that hard because I think that's what we're indoctrinated to think. Like we're get in line, get on the conveyor belt, look at your phone, watch TV, but you're gonna damn sure get to work
Yeah.
in my factory,
Yeah.
I mean,
and then blow your brains out.
but at the same time, like, how differently could you really do it efficiently? So, I mean, I like the idea of Montessori schools where it's like, here you go, choose what you learn, run
Right.
about the room.
Yeah,
But, that doesn't work for everybody. Keeping people in order, it's like, all right, all of you are going to learn this damn thing. Do it. It's kind of dystopian if you put the right teacher in there and, like, color the walls the right way, but it's pretty efficient. I'm cool with it.
it's efficient, but as far as like creative thinkers, and I always go back to Einstein, and which a lot of that was his wife, and Tesla. I always go back to Tesla as well. They deflected, or they whatever it's called when you don't listen to what's out there.
As they say the whole sentence, and I'll tell you.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah,
They divert from
Would-
the
wait.
norm.
yeah.
kind of
there you
thing.
go. They
Alright.
divert from the more. They don't like or dislike the status quo.
So I feel like even that is kind of a positive, because the only time I ever really accomplished it, because we were talking last time, I think it was last time, about procrastination and shit.
Yeah, that was last time.
And it's like the only time I ever really finish things like on a personal level, music and scenes and shit, is because like I'm putting off doing something else.
Right?
So
Yeah.
So without like the structure of the walls and you have nothing to really rebel against in your imagination.
Well, then for you have productive procrastination because, you're getting rid of one, but you're gaining another. So your procrastination actually works in your benefit. Like a lot of studies have shown that procrastination is actually a tool for creativity.
Well, if you look at classes that are like, okay, shop and home ec, I mean, there's still a similar structure, but I enjoyed those types of classes more because it was hands-on.
It's definitely a lot more freedom and whatnot.
Yeah. It's, we have a specific, what's it called?
Curriculum?
Thank you, curriculum. But, you get up and do it your own way. And I feel like that was kind of their attempt at doing it differently than the conventional just, okay, we're here, I'll stand here, you sit there, this is what we talk about, turn in your homework, test, done.
So
I'll make
can
a
you
sh- I'll
explain
make a
why they got
shelf.
rid of that?
It's a great question.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
gone.
none of that
Like
stuff
across
is,
the board or like in some areas?
I think across the board.
You
Yeah.
forget about it.
It's-
In some of them,
Yeah.
I think they have like agricultural classes still in like the 4-H counties. But as far as actual machine shop and home ec, and you can forget about it. They don't have it.
Yeah.
No,
That's sad.
Did you have home ec?
No, we had shop, AutoCAD and all that, but they got rid of it the year that I graduated. They got rid of it. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And they put the money to the basketball team, the baseball team, the other whatever they had. I don't know what they adopted after that, but
Probably nothing.
no, I would like to go back and at least walk through the halls while the class is in.
Yeah.
That way I could just see like
Slap some
how's
shit
it
off
going
the
now.
wall.
Yeah. Remember when they were bringing in that
this.
new math? Do you remember we looked that new math up
Yeah.
where you could like I don't know however you get to the answers.
Yeah, I don't know
however
how
get
you
to
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned it and then I forgot it.
It makes you wonder if it was a portion of, hey, let's just keep them dumb. Like let's keep make them think they're
Well, I
right
mean,
when they're absolutely not. Like,
It's
I felt like that method was pretty all right.
just
here we go.
they do
It's
want to
less
keep us
linear.
dumb. I would say that's why they don't have home ec and they don't teach you how to write checks or manage money. And here's shop. They don't have any of that stuff anymore because of that. It's more just we're going to sit here. If we have to make cuts somehow, let's get rid of these classes because they don't fit
Right.
this structure that goes towards our testing.
But the idea of getting rid of shop seems stupid. But like the other stuff, it's like you could just learn that at home.
it's still stupid though.
most
Put
of
some
they don't.
burden on the parents.
I
Just-
would
Yeah, but parents are nowhere to be found nowadays.
Well, they need
either.
to quit being shitty.
I would say, even if the parents were the best, having those classes are still beneficial because it's a different way of thinking and
agree.
responding. And
And it's proven that you don't, at a certain point, you stop listening and learning from your parents
Yeah.
and start learning from your and only value the information given to you by your peers,
exactly.
including your teachers, your educators, all
Yeah.
that. So at a point, your parents have no say in the game because you don't listen anyways.
Yeah.
It just goes in this ear, out that ear, and then you go like masturbate or something about it.
It's
But then unless the teachers and your friends are telling the kid the same thing, then they're going to be informed one way or the other. So I mean, if you're telling them true shit, then and they're not listening, then it's not going to matter anyway, unless people are repeating it to them.
Right.
Then
You got to repeat it.
I feel like that could just be like a side effect of parents being stupid for so long, or is it just a natural part of maturing?
it's a natural part of maturing, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that stuff
Hop on
does
board with
happen. I
that.
mean, how many times have you talked to a friend who told you something and you don't listen to them? It happens all the time because we still make our own decisions. Whether
Yeah.
someone's telling
Yeah.
us fact or not doesn't matter.
I've actually given up
It's-
talking to people about what I'm going to do. I'm just like, I know what I should do. Maybe I'll do it.
There's something that I was
I'm
also
talking as a teenager, though.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm still a teenager.
Yeah. Okay.
I could say sometimes I feel mentally like a teenager.
Yeah.
But I wish I was like an adolescent still. I think that I could be more creative in that sense. We've talked about that. Other than that, though, I think there's something that you can really relate to. I looked it up.
Yeah.
We were
Hello.
talking about fears. There's two main fears that people have, and why we don't challenge the status quo. Like
Yeah.
most people don't, because the first fear is fear of conformity, right? We fear conforming to a certain ideal or set of patterns.
Thank you for saying that differently.
Yeah. Right.
Fear of conformity. We're scared to conform.
It's like a fear of being great. It's a fear of being great. You fear the
Well,
best
that's
parts
hardly
of yourself.
conforming. That's a fear of success.
Well, here I got a quote for that as well. You ready for the quote
Yeah.
as well?
His
Because
with
I
it.
got you.
Here's with that quote.
I got you with the quote. Okay, this is a quote from Abraham Maslow, right? Which I think I wrote somewhere something
Is that the
he's,
DJ from Grand Theft Auto?
that is not
Yeah.
who that is.
That's exactly who that is.
Anyways, I'll tell you who he is here in a little bit. But he says that we
I
are
feel like he's a
generally afraid to
psychologist.
become that which we can only glimpse in our most okay, one more time.
Yeah,
We
from
are
the top.
generally afraid to become that which we can only glimpse in our most perfect moments. We enjoy and thrill to the godlike possibilities we see in ourselves, and yet we simultaneously shiver with weakness, awe, and fear before these same possibilities.
Hell yeah.
Because we fear being great. And guess what? The fear really boils down to, there was two of them, fear of being great, or fear of conformity, and a fear of being alone. Loneliness was the other fear, but it all boils down to loneliness, because when you challenge the status quo or you go outside of the box or you whatever, you're alone in that. I've learned that starting my own company. There's not a lot of people around me that start their own company or want to do their own thing or get out of the work environment. It's lonely. Like there's not a lot of people to turn to and ask questions or, hey, am I doing this right or wrong or whatever. But that's sometimes the reason why we self-sabotage and redirect our attention, because or get addicted to drugs, because we're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of being great. Fear of conformity, right?
The greatness thing kind of gets to me, because it's not a matter of achieving the greatness that sucks. It's the maintaining of it and performing at that level
All the
consistently.
time. Yeah.
It's like, that's good. That's just going to take away so much from my relaxation time.
Right. Can you imagine, like,
So it's more a fear of not being able to be lazy anymore.
I feel like that's a lot of times why these super rich, famous people kill themselves, because they have no time by themselves. They have all this media attention, and people are just like chomping at the bit to get a little bit of their
Chomping at the
attention,
Get
but
that
they're
bits.
still absolutely alone. Like, you know, when it comes down to it, nobody wants to know them as a person or as a friend. They're just wanting a piece of them. Literally cut their hand off and put it around their neck, you know, wear as a necklace.
Working on my necklace. Give me a hand. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's but I was looking that up, and I was watching this video or something, and it struck me like that is true. And I know that, like, when I think about doing something, like, yes, you know, and we're gonna do this and it's gonna go this way, and then almost immediately I'm like, well, you're not that good. Why step outside the box, because, you know, you're gonna get shot down or whatever, and then you self-sabotage. And then you have an excuse. See that? See how that worked
Indeed.
out?
Look at
Got an
that.
excuse.
Chia. What did you say when he started reading? I told you. Hold on a second, because I was.
Oh, the Maslow?
Uh-huh.
I was like, you know, the DJ from Grand Theft Auto. But isn't he a
Oh.
psychologist? He has
Yeah.
like the
American
hierarchy of
psychologist.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what his first name was, but yeah.
Yeah.
Abraham
Okay.
Maslow.
Oh.
I was
Yeah.
like, hey, that's Maslow's
Yeah,
things there.
the hierarchy of needs.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's a really good one to look up. But we were watching a whole video the other day about.
I was thinking Laszlo. Damn it.
Laszlo.
All right.
That is incorrect.
Close enough.
Yeah.
He's the DJ, I assume.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They say though, I was looking up what would like the perfect mixture to make you absolutely the best version of who you could be.
Yeah.
Is a mix between arrogance and humility, being humble.
Excellent.
The art of being humble, but you can't be too humble, or you'll
No.
just shit on yourself.
You got to be like Jay-Z.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Kanye is the example of
Arrogant.
a little too arrogant.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But only a
Jay-Z's
little.
that fine median, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
He knows what's up.
Yeah,
He walks around holding his dick, but he ain't an asshole about it.
that's right. Excuse me, ma'am. Still.
Oh, that's good.
Do you want me to hit this?
No, thank you though.
Yeah, any way that I can help.
Something else too for whoever watches this to think about,
Yeah.
right?
think about.
If let's say they're right, and the universe is 13.7 billion years old.
Let's say they're
The
right.
whole universe, right? What we know of it right now. So think about, okay, I don't know if you could wrap your head around how much a billion is, but it's a lot, okay? Think about 13.7 of those, right? That's a hell of a lot. Okay, think about those in single days, right? Think about all those days.
Sounds
all
terrible.
Yeah, I
all
know.
those days
God.
of
How you gonna fill those days?
cosmic storms and
Sleep.
and births of new stars and planets and other bangs that happen out in the universe, and then
Big
you
bangs,
have,
little bangs.
you know,
All the bangs.
tiny crustaceans that finally learn how to crawl out of the
I'm
water,
a space scrimp.
and then those turn into dinosaurs and T-Rexes, and then those die off, and then cavemen, and then, you know, over another million
Yeah.
years we finally become humans, and we can think, and we can create, and we can do all those billions of years.
Yeah.
And you were born in 1983,
86.
right? You were lucky enough to be a part of the greatest time in history.
Yeah.
Not you specifically, but
What do you mean?
whoever's listening to this,
All of
all
us,
that
you.
evolution, you're
Yeah.
lucky enough across that vast timeline to be who you are right now. Don't squander that opportunity. That is a
But
long
my
line
dad
of
beats
evolution.
me and my mom's dying of AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over it, is what we're saying.
Get over
Yeah.
it.
You gotta get over those things.
Get over
That's
it.
a-
Get out there and get that money.
That's a long time to be born in the best time. You know what I mean? You are one lucky son of a gun, right?
That
And if
we're
you're
aware of. I
wasting
mean,
it,
what if we have the whole the reincarnation shit, you know? And like we've
I
been
believe in that.
alive in the
Yeah.
1600s when it wasn't so great. But then you were giving
the deal?
that same speech. That would be good.
Yeah.
We're sitting around in the 1600s talking in the
I
Coliseum.
could give that same speech.
Like everybody's listening. Hey, we've got this. Instead of animals killing people, Adam's going to pontificate for a moment. And you're like, yeah!
It'd be such a different speech back when they thought the earth was flat and you'd walk off the side of it. I'd be like, all that evolution from like,
That would be my one trick as a person in that time. Walk to the edge of it.
yeah.
If it's flat, just walk to the edge of it.
Boom. No,
That's
I just,
awesome.
when you think about that, because we were looking at how time flows in the universe and string theory and all that, it just blew my mind to think 13 billion years. I believe in creation. Is creation, not creation.
Creationism?
Creationism? Yeah.
Is that where there's like intelligent design and shit?
No. Reincarnation is what you said. My fault.
okay. Yeah.
I believe, so I really believe in that. I believe that's where prodigies come from and a long history of learning and making mistakes and failures and dying and living. I believe in that. Right?
Once you're a prodigy, do you remain a prodigy in the next life?
Ooh.
It's a good
I don't know.
question.
I do know that statistically speaking, prodigies don't go on to be great. The most times you're greats like Albert Einstein and musical or art and all that, your greats are not prodigies. Your prodigies more or less fizzle out because they just get really, really fantastic at what's already known.
Yeah. It's like great out the gate, and then they just kind of relax.
Yep, they just like peter off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can have it in the little thing. You can have it. You can be great. But you ain't gonna be shit when you get older, little kid. You know what I mean?
I'm going
stupid
to
kid.
say, because I don't know, but I'm just going to theorize here,
Yeah.
that prodigies aren't always prodigies.
Ooh.
I think,
what happens?
I'd say when their next life around, it's another learning experience. It could be the next 3 lives around. Excuse me, more learning experiences, and then prodigy again.
Yeah.
It's
that makes
it's a
sense.
nice thought to think
It
about.
seems
Like
fun to me.
no matter what madness you go through, no matter how much pain and hardship you go through, right? Yeah, it's just part of the journey, right? I think about like things that happened to me back in the day when I was younger and how crappy it was and all that. And I realized that it's just part of a grander journey. Like the car wreck or my buddy down in my lap and all, just a part of this grand journey. And by the end of it, I want to be so tired. So
You're
tired.
good. You're so good.
I really
So
didn't think he had it in
tired.
him.
That I want to be like, you know what? It's time to die. I'm ready for the next one. You know what I mean? But see if they let you think that, or if that was actually true and they could tell you it was true,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you commit suicide if it was just like game over? Like to hell with this life.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go on the next one. Pow,
What
right in
if
the
you
mouth.
commit suicide? You don't get reincarnated because you've soiled your soul.
Or if you if you do, you get reincarnated down.
Yeah, yeah.
The only way to reverse the cycle is to kill
You're a
yourself.
dung beetle now.
Sarah with
Yeah.
the devil's advocate.
That's right.
Devil's advocate.
Always.
Cool,
There's
man.
no guarantee that anything is just one way.
Are y'all hungry? Look at your faces. Look at your faces. Well,
don't know.
we're going to pretend to eat or not eat.
We're gonna make decisions
That
now.
was the 46th episode of Wildly and Did you have any? I'm sorry. Maybe
Yeah,
I should
you're
ask
just
the
like, I'm
crowd.
done. Bye, guys.
I didn't hold up the finger thumbs.
Oh, I don't care.
You sure? You got anything going on with the band?
I don't know. I feel like we
Lately?
play somewhere next week, but I don't know where.
Come on, Ian.
I'd like for you to know the final tally. I said the F word 3 times. Adam had a big fat 0, and Ian said it twice.
Yeah.
We had no GDs.
None.
Nope.
We did very
almost.
good this episode.
You
yeah.
almost.
I almost did, but I said God bless.
I'll have to text Lita and let her know we had a total of 5 F-bombs and let her
And Adam wasn't a part of none of it. You got to tell
No,
her that
and
because
see
I'm the
if-
worst.
if that's sufficient or if we have to do it again next
I
week.
had a reason for Oh yeah, I was
You're
gonna see when our shows
banned.
are.
You're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
What am I looking at?
What is life? I've learned though. Oh, go ahead.
On February 19th. Well, it doesn't matter. On February 19th, Gary and I are going to go do something on the radio, but I don't know what station. I don't know what time.
God bless.
Yeah, whatever.
Well,
February 22nd, we're playing in Bardstown.
Bardstown, Kentucky.
Bardstown, Kentucky.
Where else would it be?
Bardstown, Tennessee.
Illinois.
Illinois.
Oh, I
Indiana.
wonder how many Bardstowns there are.
I will say though, awesome for that. I would like to hear you all on the radio again. Definitely man the mic because some of your other bandmates just don't talk that often.
And
you know?
Like any of them.
Yeah. Well, Austin, you can't shut him the hell up.
Oh, cool.
Actually,
See,
I
we
haven't heard him on the
actually-
radio yet.
As in, we haven't had a radio
Yeah.
experience with him on there.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah,
but
he's
you're
a
not
wordy
going with him,
bitch.
so.
So, yeah.
But
That's cool. I'll do my homework.
no, we're in the 46th episode. That's pretty awesome and amazing. What?
What?
So God, I hate homework.
That'll
Oh,
be all right.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't mind research for this. I just didn't do any this time because I've just been.
oh, that's fine.
Your turn.
Did you see my,
Sailing.
did you see my research? I don't normally do.
You went
research.
hard.
I did, man. Sorry for the way I read and all that, but I will say something about like
At
getting
least I
rid of the
can
F words and stuff. I'm okay at like the little ones, but the more I read and the more I learn that I'm illiterate to the actual English language.
English language.
English language.
Good old English.
The vast amount of words that there are, and trying to be more. What is that? Correctical.
I don't think
Whatever.
that's a word.
Um,
Sounds good.
Correctable.
correct. Whatever. But I'm trying to expand my vocabulary. Is what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like I don't know enough. I'm reading a book about humanity and why we exist, and I almost have to look up like 3 words per paragraph.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I'm doing like 5 to 10 pages at a time because my vocabulary in the studies that he's doing. So he does humanities and science. So I really don't. You know what I mean? It's not part of my life. I don't know these words. You know what I mean?
Dude, so this guy, Mark Danielewski, he's the guy that wrote House of Leaves. He has he started working on a series that started with the first one was The Familiar. And as I was reading it, like I would make a list of words that I didn't know and then like look them up.
Yeah.
There have never been more words in like the first 10 pages than ever. Like,
Really?
dude is wild.
I didn't even think about making a list. I keep the notebook by the bed,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, well, I'm just looking up as I go. But then I have a hard time retaining all the other information because I'm so stuck on trying to learn the one word.
So I eventually stopped writing them down. I was like, there are too many.
Too many.
I'm not going to remember this shit.
Nope. No way.
And the crazy thing is, too, reading especially about humanities or science or something in that, it's like you can't. There's no.
You just can't.
You can't just keep reading and figure out the subject of that word by the entire sentence. You can't because the word explains why the sentence is a sentence.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
It sucks.
but
Yeah, I'll know.
yeah.
Shit.
Thank God it's a smaller book. But I've learned though, like in speaking, I'm trying to like expand the way that I present myself because I realize that I lean on the F word a lot. I lean on uhs and ands and and long pauses and stuff. You try to like more presentable.
Vocabulary. I'm trying to find out what this word is that you wanted to.
Speak correctly. I want to speak correctly.
You want to speak correctly.
Correctly.
It's not
It's not
correctly.
If we figure it out though,
This
you're
is
gonna know it.
trying shit.
Yeah.
Correct-
Oh, you almost got an F word to you.
Correctly.
I almost gave it to you.
correctly.
You almost had mine. But anyways,
Correctly.
that was another episode of Wildly Uninteresting. We appreciate all of our viewers.
And
if
listeners.
you could hit the share button. I don't even care if you hit the like notification. None of that. hit the share button so
Yeah,
other
and
people can
subscribe
tell
to
us
it.
how
Look at
bad
it.
we are.
If you want a shirt, send us a letter or something.
Yeah, man. If you want a shirt, send us drop us a big long comment, and we'll try to get you out a shirt.
Correctively?
Correctively, maybe that's right.
That has to do
I
with
don't know.
glasses.
But anyways,
No,
thank you
in a
for
correct
listening.
manner.
Nope.
Skibbity
Ba-da-ba-ba-doo-boo.
scats.
Fucking
Ba- ba-
goddamn!
Oh, come on.
Yeah, save it.
Wildly uninteresting.
Burn the world.
Podcast.